Jaylen Brown comes up huge with Jayson Tatum out. Kristaps Porzingis bleeds again, but loves it. And the Celtics are up 2-0. And I'm talking about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Being down, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Jrue to KP, tap in daily. Prime time, dapping D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day, and I got you covered every Monday through Friday with a free podcast. It drops directly to your favorite podcasting app if you're a subscriber, so make sure you do that. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube, get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm John Karalis. I'm a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've been covering the Celtics for about 20 years, and I'm here at TD Garden after the Boston Celtics beat the Magic by 9 in Game 2. They have taken a 3-0 series lead as I adjust my camera for those of you on YouTube. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA when you download the Game Time app, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase of tickets, last-minute tickets to whatever you want to go to, including maybe if you're a Celtics fan down in Florida, down in Orlando, you want to get to this Game 3 in Orlando at the Kia Center because that could be the game that locks up this series. It's a tough series, and I didn't expect anything less. I expected this to be kind of a slugfest, but this has been incredibly difficult, physical. Porzingis bleeding, guys on the floor, the fouls everywhere. I'll talk about Porzingis. I'm going to save Porzingis for last because it was relatively immaterial to the game, but it was still like the signature moment. But I want to save that for last. I'll talk about why the supporting cast are the difference in this series, even though the Celtics are playing at Orlando's pace for most of it. But got to start with Jaylen Brown, 36 points on 12 of 19 shooting, 5 of 7 from 3, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He is the first Celtic ever. No other Celtic has put up 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists while shooting 63%. I know sometimes you got to adjust the sliders and you get certain numbers to go a certain way, and that's how you get to the only person who's ever done this a certain way. But bottom line is no Celtic has shot this well, scored that many points, rebound, assist, and all of that stuff. With JT out, no Jayson Tatum, bone bruise in that right wrist. Not a surprise that he missed this game. He was here. He had a big wrap on his right hand, kind of like wrapped around the thumb. I don't know how bad it is. It was kind of a late decision to not play him, although he didn't warm up and didn't really see him milling around the locker room. It didn't seem like he was ever going to play, but they didn't announce it until very late. Regardless, Jaylen Brown comes up big with 36 points, 13 points in the third quarter, which was huge. The Celtics came out after a 3-point lead at halftime, just stormed out of the half. And Jaylen Brown was a big part of that. The Celtics had little pockets in this game of, hey, we're the Celtics. We're going to go out here. We're going to hit a bunch of threes. We're going to play some great defense. We're going to build this big lead. And then the Magic would just slowly chop away at it. And, you know, very typical kind of fashion, right? The Celtics, high-powered offensive team, when they get going, especially when it feeds off of their defense, and that's what happened a lot in this. When the Celtics were going on their runs, it was feeding off of their defense, steals, rebounds, getting out, playing a little bit more up-tempo. They do that in little pockets here and there. They do it in little bursts. And Orlando has to work really, really hard. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, you got to attack. A lot of mid-range stuff, a lot of getting to the basket, a lot of, not a lot from three necessarily. It's just bit by bit by bit. And they get close, and all of a sudden the Celtics go, bam, here's a 12-0 run or an 11-2 run or something like that. And it's like, if you're from the Orlando side, you go, okay, we got it down to 5. This is great. Oh, now we're down 12 again. All right, here we go. Very Sisyphus trying to push the rock up the top of the hill. And then you get to the top and there it goes all the way back down. You say, oh, all right, well, let's get back to the bottom of that rock. The Celtics are a very big, heavy rock, though. And led by Jaylen Brown, I'll get to the supporting cast in a minute, but led by Jaylen Brown on a night where there is no Jayson Tatum, for him to drop this kind of performance, 12 of 19 shooting, it's incredible. When Jaylen's jumper is working the way it was in this game, and he came out right away and was pulling up. First basket of the game was a pick and roll where, and I thought the Celtics were going to do more of this, but pick and roll, Orlando switch, and one of the things that you do against a switch is right at the point of the pick and roll, you just rise up, because there's like a little gap, a little moment there where, as your guy, the guy who's been defending you, the guy who's getting picked, is kind of passing you off to the next guy, there's a little opening there to take that shot. And I thought the Celtics were going to take advantage of those a little bit more to try to get some early offense, to get some three-pointers up. But that was the first thing that Jaylen did. That went in, and that should have been an indication right away that Jaylen was going to have a big game. If his jumpers start to fall early, then the rest of his game kind of flows off of that, and that's when he tends to have his biggest nights. But, I'm most impressed, not even with the 36 points, not even with the 63% shooting, 10 rebounds for Jaylen. 10 rebounds for him. He's not a big rebounder. And my biggest fear with Jayson out wasn't necessarily the offense. I thought the Celtics were going to be able to find the offense fine. They got a lot of weapons. Putting up 109 points without Jayson Tatum, not really surprising. Rebounding the way they did, maybe a little bit more surprising. Jason's their best rebounder. He's their leading rebounder. But they got three guys with 10 rebounds apiece. Jaylen, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, all with 10 rebounds. The first time in 5 years that the three Celtics have gotten together for 10 rebounds apiece in a playoff game, not since the bubble. The rebounding is a huge part of this, because they held Orlando to 7 offensive rebounds and only 10 second chance points. They were 3 of 6 on second chance point attempts. So only 6 second chance point attempts for Orlando. That's a big reason why in a 9-point game where Orlando is a team that likes to get those second chances, because mostly they don't hit a lot of shots. They're not a great offense. You have to live on second chances if you're not a great offensive team. The Celtics limited those. There's a big reason why they're able to hold Orlando to 100 points. And really, if the Celtics didn't start fouling like crazy in the fourth quarter, I mean, really, it got a little out of hand in the fourth quarter. They gave up 29 points in the fourth. They actually lost that quarter. They did a pretty good job. 21 points allowed in the first, 26 in the second, 24 in the third. And then that 29th was fueled by free throws. But the second chance points allowed the Celtics to hold Orlando to 82 field goal attempts. Now, the field goal attempts, the margins where Joe Mazzulla likes to focus, a little thrown off. You don't want to just look at that column in the box score. The Celtics had 80, but they had 33 free throw attempts. But that doesn't change the fact that they were playing at Orlando's pace. And I would say out of the first 2 games, there's probably the third quarter, most of the third quarter in game 1. And like I said, little pockets in this game. So what, 35% of this series so far in 2 games have been played at Boston's pace. And the rest has been played at Orlando's pace, which sucks for Orlando, because you played 2 games tough where the Boston Celtics were held to 103 and 109 points. For an offense like this to hold them to that's great for Orlando, except Orlando's offense couldn't break 90 in game 1 and just barely got to 100 thanks to free throws in game 2. They don't have the firepower to capitalize on what their defense is able to do. They also don't have the supporting cast to get the job done. Let's talk about the pace and the supporting cast when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Amazon Fire TV, and this new Amazon Fire TV stick, which is basically also an Xbox. Now I'm traveling. I'm going down to Orlando. I'm going to fly in the morning. Well, it is the morning. I'm going to be flying in a few hours. Throw this Fire TV stick 4K into my bag with a paired controller. And now when I have some downtime on the road, I can play Xbox if I want to. If you're traveling with your family, this is a great thing to pack instead of packing a whole big console to keep your kids occupied while you guys just want to get some breakfast and relax. Pack the Amazon Fire TV stick, the 4K stick, and bring a couple controllers. Kids are fine. All right. With Wi-Fi 6E and auto low latency mode advanced technology, the Fire TV Stick 4K delivers smoother and more responsive gameplay with lightning fast speeds that you need to stay competitive. Just tell that to your kids. They'll understand it and they'll be happy about it. With 4K streaming, you can watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. So if you don't want to have the kids playing video games or when they go to sleep, you guys can sit there on your vacation and watch something that you're subscribed to, watch a show. I just started Severance. I know I'm way behind, but I'm trying to catch up. But you can do that here with the Amazon Fire TV stick. So head on over to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller is required. It's available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube, third generation. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Would love for you to sign up for that Locked On Celtics newsletter. Just go to lockedondaily.com. Sign up for that newsletter, and you could be entered to win one of 3 great prizes. You got a few days left to enter. All you got to do is subscribe to the newsletter, and you can be entered to win a $2,500 Best Buy gift card, a $300 Game Time gift card, or a $200 Fanatics gift card, just for being a subscriber. Now, also for being a subscriber, you get the newsletter 5 days a week. I'll send you an email with Celtics, NBA, and fantasy coverage when fantasy comes back, plus links to Celtics coverage around the web. So go check that out. I think it's a great way to keep up with the podcast. If you happen to miss a show, which you shouldn't be in the playoffs, but in case you do, it's a great way to keep up with the show. All right, let's get back to this game. Celtics win it by 7. I do think the Celtics need to play at a faster pace. Everybody says that in the playoffs. It's hard. Playoffs definitely slow down. There were 42 total fouls called. 42 total fouls called in this game. I guarantee you there were not 42 total fouls in this game. Maybe double that, because it felt like every play, every possession, there was a foul committed. But 42 of them were called. And that's right up where Orlando wants to be. They want to, as we love to say, muck it up. They love to come down. Now, I do have a little bit of an exception. I love physical playoff basketball. I think there's a difference between physical playoff basketball and just fouling, blatantly fouling, and saying, go ahead, ref, call it. I dare you to call it. And having the refs just be like, I'm out of breath. I can't blow my whistle. I'd love to, but I have no breath left from all the other times I've been blowing the whistle. So, but they're really mixing it up. You know, you get these moments like Al Horford and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope getting mixed up, and that draws a big reaction from the crowd, and which is fun. Love it. I love the fact that people are getting worked up. If it was any 2 other players, no one would have even batted an eye. It would have been like, oh yeah, they crossed paths, they tripped over each other, and not a big deal. But the physicality is starting to bubble over a little bit. People are very upset. When I get to the Kristaps Porzingis thing in a minute, like lots of boos, people, calling for ejections, death penalty, deportation. It's just, unfortunate moment, but people are really on edge when it comes to these playoff fouls. And there is the potential for it to bubble over, because it's just, elbows and pushes and all of that stuff. And the Celtics have to find a way, and they did find a way for, like I said, in little spurts here to rise above it. I think one of the problems for the Celtics is they've had too many defensive lapses. There was a stretch there, I want to say, in the third quarter. Celtics build this lead, and all of a sudden they stop playing defense. They stop communicating. They allow 3 straight Orlando layups. That means Orlando can now go back and set their defense, and you get back into this, trying to score against 5 brick walls that have been built in front of you. Very difficult for the Celtics. So the Celtics have to maintain their focus on the defensive end to get these stops. You're not going to get a ton of stops, but Orlando shot 47.5%, 24% from 3. That 47.5%, you probably have, I'd say, 6 or 7 layups that I can think off the top of my head that should not have been as easy as they were. Now, of those 6 or 7, maybe 2, 3 still get made because that's how it goes. But that's 4 possessions where you could have gotten a stop, gotten out into transition. You convert on 2 or 3 of those. You got 4 points, 5 points, 6 points. Hit a couple of threes. Now, all of a sudden, instead of a 9-point game, you've got a 15-point game, a 16-point game. Things start to get a little bit more comfortable, and it changes the dynamic of how hard Orlando is fighting. I give Orlando a ton of credit, man. This is how they're built to play. They're doing everything they're supposed to do. But the Celtics still have opportunities to make this easier on themselves. At this point, I want the Celtics to just come out of this as unscathed as possible moving forward. You already got Jayson Tatum with the wrist injury. Now you got Kristaps Porzingis with 5 more stitches in his head. What's the next thing that's going to happen? I mean, Al Horford got tripped up and hit the deck. Guys are hitting the floor all over the place. This is going to be a long playoff run for the Celtics, presumably. So the goal here is just to finish off these next 2 games, get out of it without any injuries, make sure it's over in 2 more games. Like, go there. Game 3 is hugely important because you put the pressure on them, and you dare them to come out with that same intensity. A young team in their first playoff run that's probably feels like they're leaving Boston having left points and potential wins on the road. You dare them to come out after a game 3 loss at home and step up and play to their full capability. I don't think they will. I think they wilt at that point. So, but you do that by playing defense yourself for 48 minutes, the full 48. After the game, Joe Mazzulla, Jaylen Brown both talked about, it's kind of like the same talking point where there's 15 to 20 plays. And this is true of most games. There's 15 to 20 plays that you can go back and look at and say, these were completely screwed these up. We got to be much better on these plays. And those defensively for the Celtics, they have to perform. They have to communicate. There's always going to be a lapse, right? Of the 15 or 20, I'm saying the best case scenario, 12 to 17 are going to go their way. But you have to minimize those lapses because that's where you build your lead. Orlando doesn't have the firepower to come all the way back. So the bigger the lead, the more pressure you put on them, the more guys start to break from the plan. And all of a sudden, Banchero starts launching threes instead of doing what he's been doing. Franz Wagner starts launching threes. Maybe some of the other guys start launching threes. And the other guys are not able to keep up with the Celtics. The supporting casts are winning this series for the Celtics. I'll get into that. I'll get into Kristaps Porzingis, loving his WWE moments when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. It's the place to go for your last-minute tickets to anything. I'm here in the building. I don't need a ticket, but I do get to experience this awesome atmosphere here at TD Garden. One of the best, if not the best atmospheres playoff-wise in the league. Maybe some other, venues like to say, well, we're close, but there's nothing like being here. You can get last minute tickets to these playoff games, even when demand is high, on the Game Time app. The last minute deals, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports or concerts, comedy, theater, because prices tend to go down as tip off gets closer. So these last minute deals can really end up being big savings. And the all in pricing, when you toggle that, there's no surprise fees at checkout. The price that you see is the price that you're going to pay. And they also have seat views. So again, what you see is what you get. You can see the view from your seat, so there's no surprise. Maybe you're not from Boston, you've never been in this building. You want to make sure the view that you're getting is what you want to see. Or maybe you're in Orlando. This is a great place. Lots of Celtics fans down there, transplants. Go check it out. You open up the app, the Game Time app. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. If this is your first purchase, you're going to get $20 off. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Again, download the app, use the code LOCKEDONNBA. $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. I would love for you to go check out Locked On Magic next. Make them your second listen. I have already listened to Locked On Magic because I was here as Philip Rossman-Reich was recording Locked On Magic. In fact, I crashed Locked On Magic by being a moron in the background to try to distract him because I'm immature. But he does a great job. Go check out Locked On Magic. Always keep up with your with the enemy. We have podcasts for every show, for every team. So every one of these series, you're probably only going to listen to 3 more episodes of Locked On Magic, maybe 4, but there's going to be one for every opponent, and hopefully there are a few more opponents to listen to. The supporting casts are the difference in this. We talked about after the game 1 how Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero completely outscored Tatum and Brown by like 20 something. And they still ended up losing by 17. Here again, Paolo Banchero, who was awesome. 32 points for him, 25 for Franz Wagner, and neither of them can hit a 3. I just got to say, side note, I remember a couple years ago when Franz was hitting 3-pointers, like he was good from 3. And something happened that he lost it. He's lost it. I'm watching him shoot, and I'm just like, gross. What happened to your form, dude? I like Franz Wagner. I think he's really, really good. If he can get back to shooting the way he shot a couple years ago, oh my God, this is a duo to really be afraid of in the East. They're what, 23, 24 years old. They are on a path that I can see. Like Jaylen and Jayson didn't win a championship until they were 26, 27. So I can see Orlando's core there with Wagner and Banchero being part of a championship core. Now their path is very different, but they're very good. I just want to see, I personally, just because I love basketball, I just want to see Franz Wagner get that shot back. But those guys combined for 57. Jaylen had that awesome game, 36 points. Toss in Kristaps Porzingis with 20 points. Mostly from the line, 10 of 14 from the line. And it's basically even, 57 to 56. Now you start checking off like, okay, who was next? 16 points for Wendell Carter Jr. All right, 17 points for Derrick White. That evens out. Now who's next? 11 points for Anthony Black. Well, 11 points for Jrue Holiday. That cancels out. Then who's next? You got 14 points for Peyton Pritchard. Any other double figures for Orlando? Nope. 9 points for Al Horford. Anyone else with 9? Nope. Right? So it's the supporting cast. Orlando just doesn't have the help. Banchero and Wagner do not have the help. The difference in this game for these guys is fourth quarter, when it's teetering and the Celtics need something, Derrick White is there and hits 2 3-pointers. They don't have anybody that can do that for them. They don't have anybody like Jrue Holiday that takes over for stretches while Banchero and Wagner are either on the bench or something. They don't have a Peyton Pritchard to come in off the bench and control the game like he does. That's the difference in this game, in this series. So as long as that remains the case, I see the Celtics being able to build these leads, even not playing their best, even playing at Orlando's pace and their style for most of these games. The Celtics just need 4 minutes here, 5 minutes there, build their lead, go on a big run, build a double-digit lead. Those double-digit leads last a long time. So the Celtics, I don't know if Jayson's going to play in game 3 or not, but even if he doesn't, the Celtics just too deep. Their depth, their supporting cast is too much for Orlando. All right, Kristaps Porzingis. Again, a completely unintentional play, but an out-of-control play from Goga Bitadze. Reckless. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's out there flailing around, doesn't know who's around him, unaware of his surroundings. Just creams Kristaps Porzingis, crushes him. Big elbow across the forehead, and KP goes down. My biggest fear at that point, even though I see the blood flowing, is concussion. But so far, I mean, Porzingis has looked fine. He came back. He played. He was fine. I know concussions can sometimes present later on, but there's never a hint of any of that stuff. So hopefully he remains fine. He was more than fine. He loved it. Kristaps Porzingis, I mean, this is incredible to me. First of all, second game in a couple of weeks that we've seen him bleeding, leaving the floor to cheers. So it's like old school ECW table, ladders, and chairs. It's like a Cactus Jack wrestling match. Porzingis is just out there bleeding, and like the crowd is loving it. Joe Mazzulla is loving it. Joe is like, yeah, I love to watch him bleed on the court. This is important. You got to do that. I remember on ring night, Joe said the floor tastes like blood. I didn't realize it was going to be Porzingis's blood that was all over the floor. But Porzingis loves it. He comes out, cheers, crowd, goes in the back, gets a big fat Band-Aid on his forehead, comes out, takes it because it ended up being a flagrant foul. Again, I want to be clear, unintentional but reckless. So flagrant one, fine. He shoots both free throws. He makes one. He goes in the back, gets stitched up. My biggest surprise of the night is that it only took 5 stitches to close that thing. So I thought that was double digits for sure. But he comes out, crowd. There's the video of him walking down the tunnel. He's smiling at the camera. He comes out, arms raised, goes into the game, cheers everywhere. This is right up Kristaps Porzingis alley. No one loves the show more than he does. I wouldn't be surprised if after he retires, he could go to the WWE and be like some sort of manager or something. I think he would enjoy hitting people over the head with a chair, maybe taking a chair shot himself. As long as the crowd loved it, he's in. But another signature moment. I think anytime a player bleeds in a playoff game, that becomes a signature moment, because now you could put that into the middle of any hype video and it just, people get riled up about it. And, around here, you just change the hue on the blood and it looks like you're bleeding green. And oh my God, that's going to get a huge pop. You just play that on the Jumbotron. Anytime the Magic or the opponent goes on a run, you put a little hype video with Porzingis bleeding, this crowd's going to turn around and go nuts. So signature moment for Porzingis, a fun moment for Porzingis. What a perfect Joe Mazzulla team, that the most fun moment in this basketball game is one of your star players getting elbowed in the head and getting busted open and bleeding. That's just classic Joe Mazzulla Celtics. And there we go. So off to Orlando, Celtics up 2-0. I don't see Orlando being able to do anything to stop this other than taking guys out. This is just a 2 seed, defending champion, against a 7 seed that is missing key guys, and Jalen Suggs would make a big difference. Mo Wagner would make a big difference in this series. No doubt about that. And an inexperienced team. Everything is playing out exactly like it should, and probably kind of like when we were doing our previews, this is kind of what you would expect. Tough, physical, foul-filled, dare the refs to call things, but a team challenged on offense against a team that can do both offense, defense very, very well. And the Celtics are doing enough very, very well to win these games and control enough of them that they feel comfortable. I've never felt uncomfortable about anything that's happened during these games. So if you have an adjustment, I'm sure Jamal Mosley would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you because I don't know what Orlando's adjustment is. If they help, they're screwed. If they don't help, they're screwed. The Celtics can just beat them in too many ways. But it's a great learning experience for them, I'm sure, and they will build on that. They've got an important summer coming up, which has been part of my conversations with Philip Rossman-Reich as he's left the building now 2 games in a row. Save that for Locked On Magic. Locked On Celtics will be back tomorrow. We'll be back Friday because bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Share your thoughts with me. Let me know what you're thinking. Every dayers, if you're with me every Monday through Friday plus bonus podcast, thank you so much. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much too. I would love to have you around more often. And I would love it if you shared the podcast and told everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.